Greetings, true believers, and welcome to another electrifying episode of History of the Marvel Universe. This week's tale begins with a paramilitary group known as the Legion of the Living Lightning. Primarily composed of soldiers and scientists from across the globe, the Lightning Legion was stationed in a hidden base in the Santa Ana Mountains of California. As their name implied, they used advanced technology to manipulate and weaponize electricity. Their primary goal was to overthrow the United States government. However, at least one of their members considered himself an American patriot, a man named Carlos Santos. Originally born in Mexico, Carlos immigrated to the United States and became an American citizen. He and his wife Maria lived in East Los Angeles, where they had 3 children: Miguel, Jose, and Lisa. Carlos loved America, but his misguided patriotism was manipulated by the charismatic Lord of the Living Lightning. He joined the Legion under the promise of liberating the country from societal ills like bigotry and war by seizing control away from those who didn't love America as much as he. One day, a Legion plane accidentally collided with the green Goliath known as the Incredible Hulk. The Hulk rescued the pilot and pulled him from the flaming wreckage. After awakening, the pilot convinced the Hulk to join him in his mountain base, believing the monster could be useful. And indeed, the Lord of the Living Lightning convinced the Hulk to join their noble cause. Meanwhile, Major Glenn Talbot of the U.S. Army was investigating the Legion's location after being tipped off by the counterterrorism agency S.H.I.E.L.D. However, Talbot was discovered and captured by the Legion of the Living Lightning. Since Talbot was already an enemy of the Hulk, the Lightning Lord was able to use this to strengthen the Hulk's loyalty and dispatch him to attack the Army's missile base. The Legion then took this opportunity to take control of the base's command facility. However, they made the mistake of threatening the Hulk's beloved Betty Ross, causing the Jade Giant to turn against them. With the tide of battle turning, the Legion returned to their mountain headquarters and prepared to launch their own missiles at the Army base. But the Hulk attacked before they could launch, causing a massive explosion. The mountain base was destroyed and most of the Legion of the Living Lightning was killed in the blast, including Carlos Santos. Some members did survive and reincorporated as the Lords of the Living Lightning. This new group acted as a doomsday cult, selling their advanced weapons to terrorist groups in the hopes of triggering an apocalyptic war. However, for this story, we turn our attention to Carlos's oldest son, Miguel Santos. He and his siblings grew up in East L.A., with gang violence being an ever-looming threat due to the rival groups the Jaguars and the Snakes. Miguel wanted himself, his family, and his girlfriend, Asuka, to avoid the gangs entirely. It's now known that Miguel is gay, but back then he was likely not out. Years after the destruction of the Lightning base in the Santa Ana Mountains, he traveled there seeking to redeem the memory of his father and the reputation of the Legion. With the maps and codes he inherited, he made his way into the abandoned lair, looking for weapons and technology he could salvage. He attempted to reactivate the broken lightning machine, but was met with an intense electric shock. However, through some strange quirk of fate, the energy from the high-tech machine transformed Santos himself into living lightning. He began testing his new powers when he encountered the original Human Torch, Jim Hammond. Addled by the transformation, Miguel nearly lost his mind and targeted a nearby couple. They were saved by the Torch, but this led to a battle with them and 2 of his teammates on the West Coast Avengers, Hank Pym and Janet Van Dyne. The Avengers attempted to stop him by grounding him, and the Living Lightning disappeared. However, at the last moment, the evil Dr. Demonicus used his own machines to siphon Miguel's energy from afar and restore him to human form within his own lair. Demonicus wanted to use Miguel in his own plans of conquest, and provided him with a special containment suit to help control his powers. He served as a reluctant member of the evil Pacific Overlords while they abducted the West Coast Avengers. However, Miguel never wanted to be a villain, and he turned against Demonicus and rescued the heroes. He then aided the Avengers in battle against the giant-sized Overlord Morgan Kane, earning his own place on the team. After that, he returned home to see his mother again, but things had changed in the weeks that he'd been gone. His younger brother Jose had joined up with the Jaguars' street gang. Consequently, their sister Lisa was killed in a drive-by shooting conducted by their rival gang, the Snakes. Furthermore, his former girlfriend Asuka started dating the leader of the Snakes, a boy named Song. However, Miguel resisted the urge to take revenge, instead using his powers to break up a confrontation between the two gangs. He used his credibility as an Avenger to contact the LAPD, but before they arrived, Sung was shot and killed by a rival gang member. Frustrated and angry, Miguel chased away the remaining gang members and declared that if any more fighting like that happened in his neighborhood, he would return. When the police finally arrived, Miguel Santos introduced himself as the Living Lightning. His brother Jose decided not to run away with the other gangers and was arrested despite Miguel's attempts to vouch for him. After that, the Living Lightning continued to fight and train alongside the Avengers. Hank Pym provided him with a new containment suit as well. Whereas the suit Dr. Demonicus had given him needed to be worn at all times, this new one afforded him more freedom, allowing him to remove most of it regularly. He also proved himself by fighting alongside the Avengers during the events of Operation Galactic Storm. After that, Miguel was considered a local hero in his hometown, and Jose seemed to have left the Jaguars. While visiting his home for Cinco de Mayo, Miguel was approached by a man named Lou Denham. Denham was a former member of the Legion of the Living Lightning who knew Miguel's father but was on another mission when their base exploded. He wanted to work with Miguel to duplicate his powers and found an even more powerful Legion. However, Living Lightning refused and even saved his mother when Denham's men attempted to take her hostage. He continued living with the West Coast Avengers, at one point having a brief dalliance with a woman named Mona, but of course that didn't last. Presumably Miguel was still closeted at the time. He befriended and respected the Avengers' housekeeper, Consuela Sanchez, who chewed him out when he expressed apathy towards voting. And with the ever-present dangers involved from being an Avenger and encouragement from both Consuela and his mother, Miguel began to rethink his priorities in life. After the supposed death of Iron Man, Living Lightning stepped down from active duty to enroll in UCLA and open new possibilities. He remained a reserve member and would answer the call when the Avengers needed him. But his teammates supported and encouraged his decision to pursue his education. When the villainous Morgan Le Fay later launched attacks on virtually every Avenger, Living Lightning was one of those targeted. He was subsequently one of many to fight against the evil sorceress when she transformed the world to resemble the 6th century, and he later served with the Avengers in a way that didn't interfere with his education when he moved into their outer space monitoring station. Residing in the solar system's asteroid belt, he audited his college courses remotely and was evidently kept company by the Titanian Avenger Star Fox. The nature of their relationship is unrevealed, but Monica Rambeau did make a sly comment which could be interpreted as her knowing that Miguel was gay. He aided the Avengers with several crises during this time, after which he returned to Earth. He was also one of the many heroes to gather during the events of Avengers Disassembled. When the amateur heroes known as the Great Lakes Avengers had a membership drive, Living Lightning was one of the few to express interest. However, this was due to confusion regarding the acronym, as he thought they were representatives of the Gay-Lesbian Alliance. Ironically, although Miguel left, the hero he'd spoken to, Flatman, also came out as gay to his teammates shortly thereafter. During the first superhero civil war, Living Lightning stood in opposition of the Superhuman Registration Act alongside Captain America. However, when the war ended and his side lost, Miguel registered with the 50-state initiative to continue being a hero. The initiative was a program designed to organize America's superhero community and distribute them throughout the country. Living Lightning was assigned to the Texas-based team, the Rangers. The Superhuman Registration Act was eventually repealed and the initiative was defunded, but the Rangers continued working together for a time. Miguel eventually struck out on his own, changing his code name to simply Lightning to avoid confusion with the villainous Living Laser. He worked with the FBI, at one point going undercover to play poker with a group of car thieves and gather evidence. He lost his cool a little when one of the thieves mocked him for not being good enough for the real Avengers, but the criminals were arrested and his FBI contact, Detective Dan, was supportive. There even appeared to be a bit of flirting going on, hinting at a possible future relationship between the two men. And when another crisis arose, Lightning's old Avengers ID card buzzed, giving him the signal that it was time to assemble. The cosmic gamesman known as the Grandmaster had stolen the entire Earth, using it as a battlefield in a great competition against his rival, the Challenger. When the Challenger discovered that the Grandmaster was cheating, he abandoned the contest and attacked the Earth in a rage. Every available Avenger fought against him to save their world. However, the Earth still needed to be returned to its proper place in space, and so Miguel Santos challenged the Grandmaster to a game of Texas Hold'em poker, with the Earth's fate on the line. The cards were dealt and Lightning continuously raised the stakes. He went so far as to bet his very reputation. If he were to lose, his every accomplishment would be forgotten, and he would forever be known as a failure. However, if the Grandmaster agreed and lost, then that fate would befall him instead, and every game he'd ever won would be wiped away. Despite likely having a winning hand, the Grandmaster folded. Miguel Santos had saved the entire planet with his wits alone. Lightning returned to his duties, content in the knowledge that he was, is, and always would be worthy of being an Avenger. And that is the history of Miguel Santos, the living Lightning. But thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like, share the video, and subscribe for more marvelous content. Be sure to leave a comment letting me know what Marvel hero or villain you want to hear about next, and as always, the issues referenced in this video are listed in the description below if you would like to read them for yourself, as well as links to other places you can find me, including my Patreon page, where for only $1 a month you can get your name in these special thanks here and vote on monthly topics to be added to the schedule. So until next time, true believers, Excelsior!